Yo, what's going on guys? Mush back at it with another video, and in this video I want to talk all about the speculated release of the GTX 1180 and why it's going to be so important to the PC market as a whole, the GPU market. And if the speculated reveal date of August 20th comes to fruition, I think it could be a great time and a pivotal point as a PC gamer. And for those of you that are looking to get into PC gaming by buying a new PC, waiting for GPUs to drop in price or upgrade your GPU, I think the reveal of the GTX 1180 is be a very pivotal point in allowing and opening that door once again for more people to get into PC gaming, because for a long time, the last 16 months or so, that door has been pretty much closed to a lot of people, unless you can drop a significant amount of money on a PC. But long gone are the days where you can build a $400 PC, where you can build a $500 PC. Hell, even in context, a $600 or $700 PC isn't quite as good as it used to be in relevance to what was standard at the time. I mean, if you compare a $700 PC from early 2017 to a $700 PC now, the $700 PC now will be better in some aspects, but in a lot of aspects it will be worse. And as time goes on, you traditionally expect performance to get better over time, not stagnate or even get worse. And that of course comes down to when you're building a PC, now you are using an even more significant amount of your budget on a GPU. It's always been a significant amount of your budget, but now with the prices being the way that they are, even GPUs like a 6GB 1060 being super expensive, and again, you usually expect prices to go down, you don't expect them to stagnate or even go up. Now we're getting into a point where we're closer to MSRP, but it really should be much better than that. But what I've noticed over the last month or so, that GPU prices are dropping pretty fast, and as more rumors about the GTX 1180 are coming out, it seems like GPU prices will continue to drop. And while it has been a very tumultuous time as a PC gamer or somebody that's wanted to get into PC gaming, I think those tumultuous times are coming to an end slowly but surely as we're heading into the holiday season. I know I've been saying that for quite a while, but now it's actually evident in the prices. As you guys may have seen in recent videos, I've been talking about various GTX 1080 deals, and there was a GTX 1080 deal yesterday available for $400 that came with a free copy of Destiny 2. A deal like that just wasn't available for a long time. Maybe if you hounded the used market, but a new 1080 for $400 with a free game, that is an exceptionally great deal. Hell, for a long time we were paying well over $400 for a 1070, so things are obviously getting better, and this is all happening ahead of the reveal of the 1180. And the thing is, even after the 1180 is revealed and released, I don't know how directly impactful that is going to be to the PC market, because the 1180 or whatever that GPU ends up being named, the new Nvidia GPU, the Turing GPU, if it actually comes to fruition as speculation is leading on, and I know there's been speculation in the past prior to this, but now there really does seem to be a groundswell, I think the 1180 itself will impact the GPU market. But you have to remember, the 1180 is going to be a very high-end GPU. This is going to be a GPU that's going to be in the $600 to $700 range, and the $600 to $700 range can only impact the market so much. I mean, it is a $600 to $700 GPU, only so many people can afford it. How impactful is that going to be to a GPU like the GTX 1060 3GB or 6GB? Not much. So an 1180 wouldn't impact the prices of a 1060 or a 1070 directly, but here's what's gonna happen. If an 1180 is revealed, if it is released, that finally gives us the sense of relief that new GPUs are coming. And once that idea is implanted into gamers' minds, once we know for a fact, expect prices of the lower end GPUs to trickle down as well. That goes for the new market as well as the used market, even more so to the used market, because prior to the release of the 1160 and the 1170, you know that gamers would want to unload their existing 10 series GPUs prior to the release of those GPUs, so that could be prime opportunity to snag a high quality GPU at a great price. Now there are a ton of variables that are going to come into play as well, and let me go over those. First of all, we don't know exact pricing. Once we have an idea of how these MSRPs are going to line up, we'll get a better idea on how the 10 series GPUs will react to that. If these GPUs are just listed and they go out of stock very quickly and then they're relisted on eBay for marked up prices, well, that's not going to be very good for the market either. I would highly recommend that if you don't care about the 10 series GPUs and you want an 11 series GPU, you should just have that release date marked on your calendar when it's announced, and you should be stalking these e-tailers, Newegg, Amazon, and you should buy one ASAP, because I do imagine for these new GPUs the hype is going to be incredibly high. I do not expect them to stay in stock for a very long time. I do expect them to sell out very quickly, and then I do expect them to unfortunately be relisted on eBay at marked up prices. Still, that's just kind of the game you play, and that's kind of been the game with GPUs for a long time. I remember even when the GPU market was really healthy, newer GPUs would get listed and they would go out of stock very quickly. The 1070 was a very hot GPU and went out of stock very quickly, and it was very difficult to find one at the time of its release. Of course, things get easier and easier once the hype and demand dies down, the market stabilizes and everything is good to go, but those are a couple variables that you need to keep in mind. If you are very eager to get a GPU like a 1060 or a 1070, I would highly recommend you to wait until the 1180 is announced, wait until the 1180 is released, and then check out the used market. I'll make sure to upload a video looking at it myself and giving you guys input that way, because I think that could be prime opportunity to snag a GPU at a great price. Because again, let's say in a hypothetical world, after the 1180 is released, the 1160 and the 1170 are also released, those are also going to be top tier GPUs that people are going to gun after, so they're going to be difficult to find as well. If you're dead set on getting an 1160 or an 1170, and again, this is all factoring in a hypothetical world, we don't have announcements or confirmation on any of this, but there is a lot of speculation, so I just wanted to give my input. And if you did want an 1160 or an 1170, again, you want to hound these e-tailers like Newegg and Amazon, and you want to pick them up ASAP, because those GPUs are also going to be very hot items. And again, new GPUs have also been hot items, but given the climate of the GPU market right now, that's going to enhance the hype of new GPUs even more. We've been starving for new GPUs. GPU prices are high right now. If you've been around the PC market for a while, if you've seen new GPUs launch, I would say take the hype of a GPU release like the 1070 and then amplify it 2 or 3 times, because that's what the hype for a release of an 1180 or an 1170 is going to be. I don't think that's hyperbole. I honestly think that's pretty accurate, and that's why I would also recommend, for those of you that don't really care about having the latest and greatest hardware, again, check out the used market over the next month or two. Just be cognizant of what you buy. A lot of the GPUs on eBay, they have been mined to hell, and you can usually tell based on pricing what that is, and even still, you've got good return policies. And while I am mentioning the used market a lot, I also expect prices of new GPUs to go down. We already saw it with the 1080. Again, $400 flat for a 1080 with Destiny 2 as a freebie. That's an excellent deal. There's another deal available right now, a GTX 1080 with the 750 watt gold modular power supply from EVGA, $490 for that. That's a very good deal on a GTX 1080, which you would usually peg around the $450 range as a standalone GPU. But now you're getting it for 4 flat, and you could also get it for $480 with the 750 watt power supply. That's pretty good. And bear in mind, at this point, the 1180 hasn't even been revealed. It hasn't even been announced. We still don't know for sure if this is going to come to fruition, but if it does, well, I would imagine that would drive 1080 prices even lower. So you take the $400 price tag right now, that's a new GPU. Let's say an 1180 is revealed, it's released shortly thereafter. What would used prices on a 1080 be? You're looking at the $300 range, maybe even cheaper than that. I don't think that's wishful thinking. I think that's reality, that in the very near future, sub $300 used 1080s could be a regular thing, and that sounds pretty freaking great to me. Now, what does that mean for prices of more sought-after GPUs? I think it's fair to say that the GTX 1070 is a more sought-after GPU than the 1080, and I would imagine that if a 1080 is available for sub $300 used, then you could get a 1070 for sub $250, maybe $230, and that sounds like a pretty great price for a 1070. $230 for a GTX 1070, count me in on that. Again, in some places just a few months ago, you were paying double that for a 1070. That was brand new. I don't think it's a big deal, however, especially if you are on a budget to take advantage of the used market, get GPUs, because I think the used market is going to be at a fever pitch in the next few months. Again, this is all my speculation based on the speculation that the 1180, 1160, and 1170 are coming. I think they are coming. Nvidia's got a huge surprise that they're touting for August 20th. I don't think they can give us blue balls any longer. I think they have to put up or shut up at this point. And as I mentioned at the top of this video, if all of that comes to fruition, I think this could be a real pivotal point for the PC market, and I think things can just get back to what they used to be. And hey, it would be easier to make videos like PC builds and just recommending PC hardware, because right now, while yes, there are good deals available, a lot of you guys, I see it in the comments section down below, that I'm hyping up GTX 1080s being at retail price. Yeah, it kind of sucks doing that, and maybe in the very near future, we can get to a point where I don't have to do that any longer, and I can actually be like, hey, you can get a used 1080 for $250, $280, whatever the case may be. So that's going to conclude this video, guys. I just wanted to give my input on what I think new Nvidia GPUs could do to the GPU market, and obviously, I think it would be a pretty positive trend. Let me know if you think I'm on the money or you think it's going to go somewhere else. As always, you can leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you have a request for a future video, leave that in the comments as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.